millions of musical albums exist. So the next time you hear someone say, aren't albums dead or passé or dying or something, you'll respond, the nearby landfill stuck with Taylor Swift's OG albums begs to differ. My point being, music is everywhere, and out of these millions of albums that have been released, there's a tiny little row that probably should not exist. That's not even me being a hater-ass bitch, although I cannot confirm nor deny what will happen later in the video. This is meant to be a closer look of what happens within band breakups, record label sabotage, posthumous releases, and experiments gone terribly wrong. No two stories are the same, and how could they be? Their existence is either a miracle or a curse, and I wanted to get to the root of why they more than likely shouldn't exist, at least publicly.
I am the view, I am the table, I am all this, I am the root.
The more I learn about Lou Reed, the more Lou Reed fucking sucks. I don't want to needlessly punch down on the dead, but with as many shots as the former Velvet Underground star took, I think he can handle a few in the great beyond. Heavy metal band Metallica paired up with the pretentious spoken word poet for a full album of original music. What could possibly go right? The band reunited with Reed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2009, talking after the show and realizing that there might be some weird energy between them ripe for recording. Most artists who tease collaborations never actually happen, including some killer ones that I am very sad that I haven't heard yet. Yeah, let me throw on this horny old man talking about spitting in mouths and becoming tables while metal riffs go chugga chugga choo choo. Sounds like a fantastic time, and maybe afterwards we can all get together and sing Kumbaya. The recording sessions for Lulu were unhinged, live, face to face. Lars Ulrich claims Lou challenged him to a street fight at one point, which would have been way more interesting to hear on the record than 20-minute songs about nothing. Lulu is a big ask at 90 minutes long, and prompted extreme backlash from Metallica fans. It didn't help that Lou Reed was taunting people, as he often did, saying the album is for literate people. You know, real men who appreciate real stuff, like tables and iced honey. And now something that I'm very grateful to for existing. Today's video sponsor, Status Audio. Their new Between 3A and C true wireless Bluetooth earbuds have officially become my daily drivers thanks to their off-the-charts quality. The buds produce a crystal clear sound with a triple driver in each ear, allowing for dedicated processing of the mids, bass, and treble. For those of you that like to tune your EQ settings, the Between 3A and Cs now have a dedicated app where you can tune your settings and save presets that bring out the best quality no matter what you're listening to. Status's mission is that everybody deserves audiophile quality at an affordable price. So click the top link down below and order a pair for yourself and save an extra 10% when you pop in code ARTV. I can't hammer it home enough how much a good pair of headphones changes the entire listener experience. So thank you to Status Audio for partnering with me, supporting the channel, and let's get back to the video. Motörhead seems to be one of the only bands out there that have gathered a mutual respect from the larger rock, punk, and metal community. Their story begins in mid-1970s England with a nasty record label refusing to take them seriously, canning what would have been their debut album on Parole, before having this decision completely blow up in their face. Lemmy was on bass and vocals with two very different members in 1975 when this album was recorded, neither of them being from the classic Motörhead lineup of Lemmy, Fast Eddie, and the Filthy Animal. Even beyond England, Motörhead were breaking out in a major way with the late 70s albums Overkill and Bomber, which caused the label to suddenly reapproach with this whole new gold digger shakedown routine.
Lemmy, so good to hear your voice, man. You guys are absolutely killing it out there. So remember that debut album you recorded like 5 years ago? We're gonna put it out now.
If you know anything about Lemmy, the man, the myth, the legend did not say yes and vehemently fought United Artists Records over its release. Obviously, Lemmy lost that argument, with On Parole suspiciously dropping the same month as Bomber, October 1979. United Artists were a bunch of twats, yeah, they cashed in on us, we had the Bomber album out, and we're already big. On Parole is far from awful, but it is very different, and I'd have to imagine it would be like dropping your magnum opus, only for your mom to host a public display of your childhood artwork.
Give us something familiar, something similar to what we know already.
Fiona Apple's arrival on the charts in the late 90s set into motion a new generation of sly, witty, but emotionally vulnerable artists who often emulated Fiona. Her album's Title and When the Pawn were so adored, the demand for LP3 was already huge by 2000. Fiona's artistry is hard to explain, but in short, she doesn't produce material unless the inspiration is genuinely there. Before briefly considering retirement, she set about recording an album with her friend and collaborator John Brion in early 2002. Her label Epic Records was hesitant to the idea of allowing the pair full creative freedom with no time constraints, but they relented, assuming her previous work with Brion was indicative of the future LP3. Nope, the greats never cut the same album twice, and this was an intentional sonic evolution into artistic pop, music with its soul and purpose fully intact.
Fiona, Happy New Year 2003, got your machine again. Ooh, listen, P5 Fom, I smell the dud of a superstar. Get it. But please return my calls. Remember your song Fast As You Can? We're gonna need you to do that in the studio, okay?
Several song-filled hours later.
The album we now know is Extraordinary Machine took more than 3 years, multiple producers, completely abandoned sessions, remixes, overhauls, and the whole 9 yards, as release dates came and went with the breeze. John Brion's sessions remained unaltered for 2 of the finalized versions, but many early 21st century pirates found and leaked basically the entirety of what he had created with Fiona, which really confused the public. Hip-hop producer Mike Elizondo re-recorded much of Extraordinary Machine with Fiona throughout 2004 and 2005. So much was unknown as fans started posting official petitions demanding Epic Records release her album, and finally, after years of her exhausting work, the label scheduled LP3 for October 4th, 2005. This was one date the album did not miss. It officially dropped, got great reviews, and even though it didn't sell as well, it became something of a cult classic that's appreciated for being bold, messy, and exceptional.
I don't wanna wait to do this one more time. One more time.
The road to One More Time is a nearly impossible one, not unlike driving an 18-wheeler up a mountain with no guardrail. Blink-182's classic lineup of Tom DeLonge, Mark Hoppus, and Travis Barker has been split and fractured several times, mostly thanks to Tom, so I wanted to use this space to remind you how miraculous it is that their new album exists. Tom leaves the band in 2005 over email after years of tension. Travis is involved in a horrific plane crash in 2008 and deals with extensive injuries and psychological damage. Band producer Jerry Finn dies suddenly the same year, Blink reunites the next year, makes an album and an EP, only for Tom to exit again in 2015 because Blink wasn't priority number 1. Fast forward through 2 solid albums with Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio filling in for some devastating news. Mark Hoppus has cancer. This health scare brings Tom and Mark closer, Travis is in the fold, everyone talks, and eventually Tom DeLonge finally comes home to Blink-182. Their Hail Mary actually worked. One More Time got positive reviews from fans and even debuted at number 1 as they balanced out pop punk and humor with a more mature human side. Overcoming this insane amount of obstacles would leave most musicians too jaded to return, so even if you're not a fan of what they do, Blink-182's comeback deserves some respect. An album made entirely of cover songs by just one artist? Not a good idea, just ask Train. Duran Duran dominated the 80s with their brand of pop rock and even had a strong resurgence during the mid-90s. However, they completely killed their renaissance with the release of the polarizing album Thank You in 1995. Thank You wasn't entirely a commercial flop, at least at launch, but it definitely hurt their reputation as fans and critics actually came to a similar consensus. Why the hell did Duran Duran think they could do justice to Sly Stone and the Family, The Doors, and more? 12 cover songs run for 55 minutes under a variety of different embarrassing genre attempts, a few of which I admit are fine, maybe even good, but I'd give it all back if it meant never having to hear Simon Le Bon clumsily rap the lyrics to Public Enemy's 911 is a joke ever again. Lou Reed once said their cover of his song Perfect Day was the best cover of his material he had ever heard, which would be a big compliment if I believed even for a second that Lou Reed had ever heard more than 2 Lou Reed covers. Suffice it to say, the covers album meant to pay tributes to the legends that inspired them was a huge misfire. A few solid covers can't save an entire album, and sitting through the entire 55-minute affair plus the bonus tracks is just asking for a headache.
I'm tired, I'm nervous, I'm bored, I'm stoned. Don't you know?
The tragedy of Jim Morrison is an often told tale, but many tend to overlook the fate of his band The Doors after his death in July 1971. Morrison was on an extended holiday in Paris throughout that year, leaving his bandmates behind in the States as work on a follow-up to the highly acclaimed LA Woman was abruptly abandoned.
Guys, so devastated about Jim. What a shame. Wow. Listen, it has been 4 months since LA Woman. Everyone's forgotten. Do you still have another album cooking for me, or?
Not that I think the other 3 members of The Doors are totally complicit or innocent here, but the label asked them to continue, and against their better judgment, they did. I went with Other Voices over the second Morrison-less LP Full Circle because at least that one did try some new things. They're both bad, flat, exhausting drives through nowhere land, but I think Other Voices is particularly insulting because of how scraped together everything felt. Nothing quite screams, I'm mourning the loss of my bandmate, than song titles like Down on the Farm or everyone's family favorite, I'm horny, I'm stoned. I wish I were kidding. These songs have no personality despite the bold title, Other Voices, hinting at the fact that the remaining members have something to say without Jim. I just still haven't figured out what it was. If this was some random band off the street, I'd recycle it from my memory, no problem. But this is The Doors, one of the most legendary bands in rock history, and to go out on such a tired, wimpy note just felt like a total betrayal of everything they built with Jim Morrison.
To be a Hulkamaniac, I can sure tell you how to stay on track. You gotta train, say your prayers, eat your vitamins too. These are all the things that the maniacs do.
I fear no man, no beast or album, brother. Not even my own creation. Hulk Hogan is the most instantly recognizable wrestler in the entire world. From his handlebar mustache to the bandanas, the shirts, the shades, Hulkster was anywhere and everywhere in 1980s America. By the mid-90s, Hulk's career was changing lanes because of back injuries. Hulkamania was fading, but in one last desperate attempt to appeal to the youth, the wrestling superstar made a call.
You want to make an album? Like a photo album, right? A rap album. That's what I thought you said. Hulkster, I can sell Coke to a Pepsi, but I don't know that I can sell this one.
I can barely breathe, brother.
Hulk Rules is a 30-minute long album released in 1995, credited to Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot Band. The album featured songs like Beach Patrol, where Hogan raps like an angered aardvark over a Sonic the Hedgehog sample, and the ballad Hulkster in Heaven, where Hulk Hogan actually sings lead. And it is hysterical because this is the ultimate opening of Pandora's Box. Once you've heard Hulk and his band, a seismic rift probably opens a new multiverse somewhere where life as you knew it before ceases to exist. There is only Hulkamania. Hulk Rules is easily one of the worst albums of all time, but it's definitely, for me at least, one of those so bad it's entertaining records that just makes me laugh out loud with how absurdly stupid and cheesy it all sounds. You gotta hand it to him though, Hulk is slapping the bass on this thing. Damn, brother! This album has a taste of everything. You've got Hulk rapping, his ex-wife sings a song, he's doing ballads, there's a random traveling band anthem that's definitely not something that 90s kids should have been listening to, and Hulk himself rapping his ass off about respecting your parents and taking your vitamin. The album did not do well, reaching only number 12 on the Billboard Kids charts, and even that has an asterisk on it. They managed to eventually sell around 300,000 copies, most of which can be found for under $1 at your local thrift store. You won't find it on streaming, bootlegs only, and most involved pretend it doesn't exist. Probably because it was dated years before it was even recorded and went down as one of the most poorly executed celebrity endeavors of all time. What are some other examples of albums that shouldn't exist? Take to the comments, and while you're down there, slap a like, it really helps me out, and subscribe for more music content every week. You can catch up on SOS at the playlist on screen, and I'll see you next time.